Hi guys, good morning. I just woke up. I didn't even have my breakfast yet. First of all, I want to give you guys an explanation. Yesterday, 2 days ago, I was practicing English, and all of a sudden I got this feeling where I felt so overwhelmed. Like I felt so bored with practicing English. I was like, okay, I don't want to study English right now. Obviously, still I need to practice. I always say that to you guys. Consistency is the key. You can't stop practicing when it comes to learning language, because the minute you stop, you're going backwards, and that is the problem. That is the real problem, okay? So, and then I was scrolling on YouTube, and all of a sudden, this talk show popped up on my page. And I was like, dude, I watched this interview. It was like so fun, and I love Margot Robbie. And all of a sudden that reminded me something from 2020. During the COVID, in 2020, I used to practice with YouTubers. With my scripts, I used to get those scripts, I used to practice with YouTubers. Alongside practicing with YouTubers, also I used to practice with talk shows. These are the studies, these are the notes, these are the scripts from 2020. And these are the scripts that I used to practice with in 2020. We're gonna be diving into the archives of my old studies from 2020. I will not leave the house today. I will not take a walk. I will not go outside. I will spend the whole day, the entire day, practicing with talk shows. But first things first, I need to have my breakfast while watching those talk shows. Then we're good to go. We can get to practicing with talk shows. I want to tell you the first biggest advantage of practicing with talk shows. Talk shows on YouTube videos are very helpful for you to take advantage of your feelings. What I mean by this, you watch a movie, you like the artist so much, and all of a sudden you find yourself in a situation where you binge watch all the interviews that this artist did, okay? And then if you like this artist so much, directly go on your computer, download the script of this video, download the scripts of these videos to your computer, and start to practice with them. Because the moment I feel the excitement, I directly act on it. Yesterday I came across this video. I was like, oh, this is so fun, okay? I really enjoyed it. Okay, now I'm gonna go practice with that because I really enjoyed it.
What up with it?
There are two more important advantages of practicing with talk shows. Talk shows help you to improve your storytelling skill. Now, storytelling skill is very important because in our daily life, on a daily basis, we always tell stories. What I mean by telling stories, for instance, let's say you go on a date, okay? You're gonna meet up with your girlfriends or potential girlfriends or boyfriends, and you're gonna have a conversation, right? Most of the time, the conversation is gonna revolve around your past, your stories, your experiences in life. Like, where did you study? Where do you go to school?
I want to ask you, you're from Cuba, is that correct?
Yeah.
And do you start acting there?
I did. I went to drama school when I was 14. That was like 4 years of theater school.
Yeah.
And when I was on my second year, I did my first movie.
You're gonna talk about your childhood, maybe you're gonna talk about your school life, high school life, university life, college life. You're gonna tell stories about your life. Once I was there, I went there. Most of the time when we go on dates or when we meet up with people, we're inclined to talk about our stories.
What about you? Tell me one of your stories.
All right, once I got on the subway, right? And it was at night. And I rode it all the way to Brooklyn. Just for the hell of it.
So it's so important to improve your storytelling skill. Okay, that's the first thing. The other thing is, guys, if you practice English and if you try to speak English, you will realize that, I don't know, in my case, I always find it harder to ask questions than answering questions. And questions are so vital, so crucial to a good, productive conversation, because good questions will lead to good conversation. So basically, there will be two very important advantages of practicing with talk shows. You will improve your asking question ability, and also you will improve your storytelling skill.
First of all, I want to say, do you live in New York?
I wish I still lived in New York. No.
First of all, I want to say, do you live in New York? I wish I still lived in New York. I wish I still lived in New York. First of all, I want to say, do you live in New York?
Well, the first place I lived in America was New York, so I was automatically a Rangers fan.
Well, the first place I lived in America was New York, so I was automatically a Rangers fan. So the first place I lived in America was New York. Guys, storytelling time, you talk about your past. The first place I lived in America was New York.
I saw a photo of, was it two Halloweens ago maybe?
I saw a photo of, was it 2 Halloweens ago maybe? Guys, look at that. Another story time is coming here. Was it 2 Halloweens ago maybe? Again, we talk about past. We talk about our past.
Halloweens ago maybe? You and your buddies dressed as the Mighty Ducks.
Yeah.
That is what got you into hockey?
No, well, yeah, I mean, growing up watching the Mighty Ducks, and I loved the Mighty Ducks, and I always wanted to play ice hockey, and then finally when I moved to America.
This is what got you into hockey? So this is what got you into hockey? Well, I mean, growing up and watching the Mighty Ducks, guys, do you see that? Again, I talk about my childhood, I talk about my past, story time. Stories and questions go hand in hand, okay?
And where did you grow up?
On the Gold Coast.
Did you have like a normal upbringing? I worked in a restaurant. Did you ever work in a restaurant growing up?
So, did you have like a normal upbringing? I worked in a restaurant. Did you work in a restaurant? Did you have like a normal upbringing? I worked in a restaurant. Did you work in a restaurant? Did you ever work in a restaurant? Look at that. Another question. Very nice question. And another very good story time. Did you have a normal upbringing? You know, you ask this question story time, you just ask this question to your date maybe or to your friends. Did you have a normal upbringing, or what was the first place that you worked in? I worked in a restaurant. Did you ever work in a restaurant? And for instance, I worked in a supermarket. My first place that I worked in a supermarket, and then I worked in a publishing house. Okay, I'm on a coffee break right now, 15 minutes break. While I'm having my coffee and dessert, I'm gonna watch those videos. When Margot Robbie speaks or Jimmy Fallon speaks, I'm gonna try to explain to you how I remember words. I learned English with the scripts of Friends. I learned English with the scripts of House of Cards. I learned English with the scripts of The Crown. And now, when people speak, I always can remember words from those TV shows.
It looks like you're falling.
Looks like you're falling. Looks like you were dropped from the rafters.
Falling. Oh, I felt I was falling. Joey scene. They're in the restaurant. Monica, Joey, falling.
Oh my God!
What?
I suddenly had the feeling I was falling.
This looks like a roller coaster.
Roller coaster. I was practicing with House of Cards, and that was the first time I learned the meaning of roller coaster.
What a roller coaster.
It's so awkward.
Awkward. There is this always awkward moment when you hand the card over to your date or something. Like Chandler says that.
You finally get up the courage to do it. And there's that horrible, awkward moment when you've handed her the note.
Wear my ski mask.
This is fantastic.
Go on a ski. Rachel.
It's so that I can spend Thanksgiving with my family. See, every year we go skiing in Vail, and
I never know what to do, and so I ended up just like I never know.
If you end up getting married and pregnant, having kids, Rachel says this at the end of the scene from Friends. Rachel's on the phone and talks to Barry. No, Mindy or something.
oh, and men, you know, if everything works out and you guys end up getting married and having kids and everything, I just hope they have his old hairline and your old nose.
If we can get a screen grab and we actually get a picture of you doing
screen grab. I feel like someone's grabbed my small intestine, Ross.
I just feel like someone reached down my throat, grabbed my small intestine.
Finally, when I moved to America.
I moved to America. Carol moved her stuff out today.
Carol moved her stuff out today.
How it works. Each shot sits on a coaster.
I remember it from Chandler. Monica is kind of like very obsessed with everything to be organized or something, and they're in the living room.
Someone's left a glass on the coffee table. There's no coaster. It's a cold drink. It's a hot day.
There's a personal question written on it, okay? You will read the question silently, but you will give your answer out loud.
Out loud. From the first episode. I wish I was a lesbian. Did I say that out loud? Chandler.
Sometimes I wish I was a lesbian. Did I say that out loud?
You must reveal at least one question during the course of the game.
during the course of the game, during the course of the few weeks. I remember it from Kennedy because I was practicing with YouTubers during the pandemic in 2020, and I was practicing with Kennedy, and Kennedy was saying that over the course of the next 3 weeks, or something like that, there was an expression like that.
We're in this weird in-between state where over the next course of the year and a half, we would go back and forth between Florida and Maryland.
Did you blink? Yeah, that was in that movie.
Do you see that? At least, I feel a little bit, happy, and I'm having fun because it makes me laugh a little bit. Like, that gives me the power and motivation to keep going, I want to tell you something here. Now, you might be like, Arsen, who cares how you remember the words? Now, the thing is, the reason why I, share how I remember words is because, guys, look at that. I learned English with friends as a beginner, and I learned English with the first 15 episodes of Friends for like 6 to 8 months, and in every episode there were approximately 120 words that I didn't know, and also in total I learned 1,800 words after studying for like 6 to 8 months with the first 15 episodes of Friends. In total I learned 1,800 lines from Friends. And then I went with House of Cards, and when I was learning English with House of Cards, in every episode I was learning approximately 350 words, and in total after practicing with House of Cards I learned 2,800 words from House of Cards. And after practicing with House of Cards I practiced with The Crown. I practiced with the first 10 episodes of The Crown, and in every episode there were approximately 205 words that I didn't know. I was learning new words in every episode, in every single episode. And at the end of the first 10 episodes of The Crown, in total, I learned 2,000 words from The Crown. 2,000 words from The Crown, 3,000 words from The House of Cards, and 1,800 words from The Friends. Almost like 7,000 words. If you think about it, I started as a beginner, and at the end of a year and a half, I was at a very good level. If you look at this example, I watch talk shows here, okay? And I directly showed you guys, I remember this word from Friends, I remember this word from House of Cards. So basically you can see how helpful it is how helpful and how beneficial, how helpful and useful it is to practice with Friends, House of Cards, The Crown, or other TV shows. And not even the whole season or something. Just 15 episodes of Friends and that's it, or 8 episodes of House of Cards and that's it, or 10 episodes of The Crown and that's it. You just practice with this TV show and you see how many words you can learn. And the most important thing is you remember the story. You get a better understanding how to use the words, in which context you can use the words, and basically you create this second brain in your head, and it's incredible. Basically today I spent the entire day without leaving house, just practicing with talk shows. This is exactly what I was doing in 2020. This is how I was spending my day. Practicing with talk shows and YouTubers and sometimes TV shows and movies. Let me tell you a few things about shadowing. Shadowing will not make you speak English fluently or will not improve your speaking skill. The only thing that shadowing will help you to improve is your pronunciation. You will start to connect words effortlessly, and these words will come out of your mouth more naturally. It's gonna flow, and also you will get more and more familiar with their accents and the way they speak, and you will be improving your listening skill in a way, because when you're doing shadowing you pay extra attention to what they're saying so that you can repeat them at the same time, you can speak simultaneously as they speak. Yeah, so shadowing is good for pronunciation, is good for accent, is good for listening, and also it's good for motivation, because anytime I do shadowing I'm like, oh, I want to speak like them, I want to be like this. But it's not improving your speaking skill. Let me tell you this, the only thing that improves your speaking skill is studying with scripts. If you don't have anyone around you that you can practice your English, you can practice speaking, There's also not a washer and dryer in here. There's also not a washer and dryer and here. There's also not a washer and dryer in here. There's also not a washer and dryer in here. It's downstairs, and so I just separated it, you know. Guys, I have the munchies. I'm gonna eat a few cookies and I'm gonna watch Normal People. Every night before I go to bed, I always watch something in English for like 15 minutes, maximum 20 minutes. Recently, I've been watching Normal People. I like it so much, honestly. I really liked it. I really enjoyed Normal People. And also, guys, look at it very carefully, okay? Introduction scene. For the first time, Connell meets those guys.
Hi, I'm Joanna.
Connell,
nice to
good to meet you. How are you?
So, Connell, you were at school with the heavenly Marianne. Connell, what was Marianne like at school?
Connell, what was Marianne like at school? Guys, do you remember what I told you this morning when I was practicing with talk shows? When you meet people for the first time, you will get questions. You will get questions from your past, you know, and you will tell a story. What was she like at school? What was she like in high school? What can you tell us about Marianne? Like, do you understand? Like, you talk about your past.
Connell, what was Marianne like at school?
Smart.
Well, obviously, but what was she like?
So what was she like? What were you like? You know, what were you doing with her? You know, always talk about your past. So this is why practicing with talk shows are very beneficial, very helpful if you want to improve your storytelling skill. Yeah, so basically it's not a waste of time. You can always practice with talk shows. Best sources are always movies and TV shows. The second best source is YouTubers, vloggers. The third best source is talk shows, okay? Anyways, now I'm gonna have my cookies while I'm having my iced tea and watching Normal People, and then I'm gonna go to bed, read Normal People, and yeah. Okay, that's all for today, guys, and keep practicing, never stop. We keep practicing together, and I'll see you guys in the next video with another video where I keep practicing with Gone Girl or any other movies and TV shows, okay? See you. Bye bye.